So today's soap has all the colors and all of the imagination and all of the love, and it is also designed by my favorite 5-year-old, which happens to be Soap and Clay Kidlet number 2. But before I get into what she has designed, hello, I'm Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are here for another round of 365 days of soap, and today we are making a brand new bar. A brand spanking new bar designed by Soap and Clay Kidlet number 2. Now, she was very specific with what she wanted this bar to look like, as well as what she wanted this bar to smell like. The smell ended up pretty easy, though, because she was insistent that the scent of this bar matched the scent of the Scalp Balm, which is currently in the line, and it's lovely. It's a very cool blend. It's a little bit floral, it's a little bit fruit, it has some amber in it to really ground it. It's delightful. And so that part, easy peasy. The rest of it, not as much, because she said that she wanted it to look like the sunrise and the sunset mixed with the rainbow with a big sunburst of love in the middle. And that was a bit of a challenge to kind of figure that out and figure out what she wanted to do in soap form, but I think we did the thing, and let's go check it out and see if you agree. So Scalp really knows how to throw curveballs at me. So as far as the, sunburst of love thing, I went with, a gold colored heart for the center of the bar. And for the sunrise and sunset and rainbow, I let her pick 6 colors. And so we've got like a rose gold going on, and a blue and a yellow and a pink and a purple. And in that guy we have the scent blend, which is actually a dupe for a Victoria's Secret scent called Love Spell. So it totally works because like the heart in the middle, and yeah. And with the oil blend, I actually did ask Scalp what she wanted for the oil blend. And, oh, you see there? We got separation. Let's do an emulsification check. Not there. Keep moving. Yeah, and she said, Mom, just make it for the best bubble. Because I say, I want a big bubble all the time. And, yeah, yeah. So, with this particular blend, we decided to go with some shea butter, some cocoa butter, some coconut oil, and some babassu oil, as well as argan and grapeseed oil. And that's really because I have a lot of argan and grapeseed oil right now and not much of anything else. So that's what we rolled with. Now this particular bar, it's going to be sort of like it's going to be split into 3 pieces, right? So on the bottom we're going to have a white base that will need to be firm enough to hold the second layer, which will be all of the cool swirls of color, as well as the heart, the gold heart. And so with this guy, I do want to make sure that he's reasonably thick, and I am actually going to end up taking a stick blender to him because, yeah, I do the thing sometimes, and I do it right, rarely, but today it's Scalp's bar, and I'm not going to mess it up because she will totally yell at me. But yeah, so we've mixed in about 1/3 of the scent into the white at this point. And again, I am going to switch to my stick blender just to give it another quick couple pulses to really thicken up the batter here. It's holding really good fluidity right now, which is good because the rest of the soap that's in the big container, it needs to stay fluid, so we have time to separate all of the colors out and then pour them and then put the heart in and then pour the top and then, you know, get the white over all of it. So it's good that this is fluid, but for right now I need this to be thicker. So I am going to go ahead and again take the stick blender to it and thicken it up and get ready for the next step, which is going to be, you know, the pour. All right, so now that we have the first layer of white nice and thick, we're going to pour that into the mold and let it continue to set up in the mold and really get some nice firmness to it while we separate the rest of the colors. Now for each of these colors, oh yeah, no, I'm missing a step. So I decided to go ahead and put some mica lines between the layers. And by mica, this isn't actually mica, this is activated charcoal. And that's cool. So within this bar you have the kaolin clay as well as the activated charcoal, so you get a double whammy with the clay stuff, and that's cool. And I don't know why I decided to do this. I just thought it might add some, you know, cool contrast in it, and I don't know, let's make my life harder. So well, yeah, let's do the thing. Now we're going to measure out another roughly third of the batter, and we will then separate that batter into those 6 containers there and scent each of the portions individually before getting them into the mold. Now, full disclosure with this guy, I have cut a lot of it out, and the parts that I cut out, it was just like I'm not moving, nothing's happening on the screen because I was trying to assist the soap and clay kidlets with homework while I was making the soap, and so I had to back away a lot. So as a result, the soap got thicker than I really wanted with this. I was really going for more wispy sort of swirls in the middle of this bar, and I really needed a thinner batter in order to do that. But you know, it's cool. I'm sure it's still going to look really awesome and it'll be fun, and you know, Scout will be pleased, or she will tell me that I'm terrible. I mean, we'll see which route she takes. Really, she's quite the character. And yeah, so now that we have all the soap separated, we are going to scent each little portion individually and mix the color and the scent along with kaolin clay that's in the scent into each of the containers, into the beakers, and then we will pour that. We're going to pour about half of the colored soap batter on top of the activated charcoal that's there, and then we'll put in the gold heart, and hopefully everything will be set up well enough for the heart to just not sink down into anything. It looks like it's going to be great at this point. It's a reasonable thickness, so everything should be great. And then once the heart has been placed, we will put the rest of the colored soap batter into the mold to cover up the heart, and then top everything off with another mica line of the activated charcoal and the white. Now with these colors, I asked Scout if she wanted to go like super bright vibrant or if she wanted to stay pastel, and she said pastel. So we are going with the lighter colors for all of this, really, and nothing that's like super big and bright, which I guess sort of makes sense because if you're, you know, trying to go sunset and sunrise, you're gonna go with kind of a more muted, you know, color base and not, you know, super in your face blindingly bright. So this is really at this point just completely at random with me, you know, adding this to the soap. Really, I've never made this bar before, and so we're just kind of playing with it to see what we can do. And I am noticing as I pour this soap that it is too thick and it is super glopping. And so what I'm ultimately going to have to do with everything is take a skewer to it all and kind of mix, like force the colors to blend into each other, which was not what I had envisioned with this. But again, I had to walk away so often that it is what it is. And you know, this is another way to do swirls. It's not my favorite way, but you can do it with some thick batter. It just requires, you know, the ability to switch things up on the fly and be okay with maybe not, you know, perfect pours. And I'm not really ever okay with that. But did you see how we had white left over in that Pyrex there. This, I'm thinking, is going to be a cool thing to put on the side of the soap to give it a sort of, I don't know, like a graying, like where like the soap, the sunrise and the sunset kind of will combine, I guess. And, you know, then of course things will get sort of brighter at the top because we have no more of the extra white soap batter. So again, I am literally just making this up as I go. There was no real game plan in mind when I made this soap, except for that I wanted 3 different sections, and we're just playing with it as we go. And that's one of the cool things about soap making. Like the biggest tip that I can give you after doing this for so long is you know, be willing to switch your game plan on the fly, and don't be afraid to play with things. And also don't be afraid of your soap batter, right? The first several batches of soap I made, I was terrified to do something like take a skewer to it, because what if it ruined the top or the inside or whatever of this bar, and it's not fixable, and you know what, it's always fixable. It's just, you know, calm down. Everything's good. It's soap, it's fun, it's artistry, and you know, even if it ends up looking terrible when it's all said and done, it's still a functioning bar of soap that will get you clean and moisturize your skin and leave you not smelling like a foot. All important things. So yeah, you know, don't be afraid to play with your batter. Don't be afraid to take some risks and experiment and see what you come up with, because while it may not be the ultimate, you know, design vision that you had in mind when you started, that doesn't mean that it's not going to be, you know, something very special and awesome at the end of the day. So with this, I mixed a couple colors that kind of look like, you know, a sunrise in one container. And I'm going to put it on one side of the heart and just sort of press it down to make sure that we don't have too many, you know, air pockets throughout all this, because this is very thick and the chances for air pockets are, you know, pretty good. And then on the other side, I'm going to mix the colors that sort of look like a sunset and put it on, you know, the other side of the heart in the middle, and basically do the same thing that I did with the blue and the orange. And you know, we'll see what we come up with, you know, with this. Now, this is an interesting thing to look at, really. When you have thick soap batter like this, it's not the most conducive for doing swirls, because you see, if I play with it too much, things start to go gray, and that's not great for a really, you know, well-formed swirl. It's a little bit too thick. I think at best you can expect like a thin to medium trace when it comes to swirls. If you're wanting to do, like, say something like a drop swirl or a hanger swirl, would be really good to have a slightly thicker batter. But something this thick, you're not going to get super good swirls that aren't going to muddy into each other and really just end up looking ultimately gray. And so I'm trying not to play with the soap batter too terribly much, but at the same time, I still need to get it into the mold and make sure that we don't have any air pockets. So I have to play with it a little bit. But we are now ready for the final row of the mica line, or the activated charcoal line in this case. And so I'm just going to dust that on and, you know, let it set and do its thing while I get the final piece, the final third of this soap ready to go on top. Now, I did a mica line soap with the, what was it? With the May bar, I think. And I don't know. I'm still not, well, with the mica line that I did for the May soap, I used the little spritzer thing, and I don't think I laid down a thick enough layer of mica. And I really hate laying down too thick of a layer with mica, because I'm stingy when it comes to my micas, because, you know, they cost doll hairs. So and also, you know, if you put too much mica into a batch, your soap batter can discolor. Or your soap bubbles rather can discolor. They can go gray, and, you know, whatever. So I wasn't super sold, and I guess this was the real reason that I was looking at doing another, you know, mica line, was because let's see if it works better with the, you know, an actual like sifter instead of the little spritzer thing that's a huge pain in the butt anyway to work with. So that's maybe what I was thinking. I really don't know. I do not know why I decided to do this. It was whatever. But anyway, the soap that is being put in the top there, look how thick that is. It's a very thick batter, and I am concerned at this point that we might end up with 1 or 2 air pockets throughout the soaps, which is, you know, totally fixable. It's fine. I cut my soaps really early, so the next day, and they're still soft enough that you can sort of take the end piece that you would normally, you know, cut off and use it as sort of putty in the holes and fill in any of the gaps. So it totally works. But this soap here, it's thick enough for a textured top, and that's awesome. But some of the black, you know, got into the top because I didn't clean off the sides, and I'm a disaster. And so I'm just gonna take some of the gold mica that we had from the May Birthstone soap still left in the little container, and, you know, just give it a nice little gold top, because why not? And this guy will go into the oven. We will pop it, so it will go through gel, and it will be ready to cut tomorrow, and we can cut into it and see what we're working with. Okay, so it is cut day. This has sat overnight in the oven, and it looks good. Everything looks pretty awesome. There's nothing to suggest any sort of problems, and we are ready to cut it up. And oh yeah, look, there it is, all cut. It's magic. I actually had someone tell me that they wished I wouldn't cut the actual cutting portion out of the videos, because that's like a satisfying part. And so I'm considering it, but, you know, full disclosure, I do not have a new, you know, soap cutter yet. And it's, look at that, look how pretty that bar is. Scout, you're amazing. You're a winner. I'm gonna have you design all of my soaps. That's so pretty. Now with this, because I used a glycerin heart in the middle of it, if you hold it up to the light, like the sunlight or, you know, the overhead light or whatever, you can see through it. You can see through the, you know, the heart, and it shines, and it's really cool. And the rag that I have out there, and I'm cleaning off the activated charcoal. Yeah, the drag line from the activated charcoal, that's from, you know, cutting it, and kind of a bummer, but look, you can just take the rag to it, and it does very well. Now I went and got this balm because Georgia May was actually making some bath bombs for a care package for nurses at the hospitals when I was cutting the soap, and she goes, "This looks just like the balm I just made," which she called, you know, the Hope Balm, and it super did. And so that was really interesting how our brains are sort of, I don't know, we all end up in the same place at the same time in the soap shop, it seems, and that's cool because that's how, you know, gift sets are born, really. But yeah, no, the activated charcoal can just be wiped off, and that's not, you know, a huge deal at this stage. If you let it set for too long, you're not going to be able to wipe it off as easily. But yeah, no, that bar is super pretty. That's a nice soap. I'm so excited for the day that I like hand over the reins of this to, you know, the soap apprentices and the soap clay kidlets, and I'm excited to see what they do with the business, because they've got big, awesome ideas. And quite frequently, after all the years that I've been doing this, I sort of run out of ideas. So it's nice to have, you know, sort of fresh eyes on everything and, you know, figuring things out. But this one is great. And the scent of this, again, it's a dupe from Victoria's Secret, so it's Love Spell, and it's phenomenal. It's a really lovely blend, and it's all the good floral and fruity and a little bit of amber. It's delightful, and it matches Scout's, you know, bath bomb, so the Scout Bomb, so it's kind of perfect. Although the colors for the Scout Bomb don't match this, so we'll have to maybe work on that for the future. But for now, yeah, that's the Scout bar, and it's beautiful. Look at her. I think we have a winner here. So there you have it, the Scout bar, which I think is going to stick because we've got the Scout Bomb, we've got the Scout bar. It's easy peasy, and, you know, Scout designed it, so it all works out. Now, this bar was actually tons of fun to make. I really enjoyed the creative process with Soap and Clay Kidlet number 2. And for a 5-year-old, she's got pretty big ideas and a pretty awesome brain ball. So that was tons of fun for me. I hope you had fun as well. If you did, like and subscribe to the channel, because that's awesome, and you'll get more soapy antics from me every single day. If you would like to follow me on social media, yeah, you can do the thing. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you're interested in purchasing the Scout Bar or the Scout Bomb, yeah, you can do that on the website at soapandclay.com. And that wraps it up for another round of 365 days of soap, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks.